Good evening, it's Friday. My name is Richard. This is over and over and over again. It is the Arsenal Women's Weekly. Coming up tonight, we are going to be looking back on last weekend's big match against Chelsea. Great game of football. Was that a missed opportunity for Arsenal to gain some points on Chelsea? We will talk about that. We've had a couple of new signings come in since our last show. Some exciting news on the transfer front, which is always good. So we will obviously discuss that as well. And also there's a game on Sunday against Brighton, away against Brighton. That's going to be a really difficult game, a really big game for Arsenal as we look to keep our title challenge going. So lots and lots of stuff to get through. It'll be all coming up the other side of this. Running there of Beth Mead. Beth Mead's in behind, plays it across. Caitlin Ford's going to score, and she has scored. This fast start has been rewarded for us. So good evening, it is the Arsenal Women's Weekly, and as you can see, there's a slightly different panel tonight. We've got a brand new panellist on, which is great, and also we have got Matt, who's not quite on camera at the moment because he's walking home, but we will obviously see Matt as well a bit later on. First of all, Andreas, good to see you again. You okay?
Yeah, not bad at all. Hello, everybody. Looking forward to the show. I think we have a lot to discuss. It's been a great weekend, with the top match. Not only a great weekend for us, but also for WSL, for women's football. Crowd, big attendance at the Emirates, and interesting new signings. Some players left us, and we have a big match on Sunday coming. So really looking forward to the show.
Yes, lots and lots of great stuff happening to talk about. And we have got a brand new guest on the show. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome on Adriana to the show. Just give an introduction to yourself. Who are you, where you're from, and what's your interest in women's football?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. Very happy to be here. My name is Adriana. I'm a sports journalist. I'm currently studying at St. Mary's University, doing my studying MA International Sport Journalism. And I'm a very big fan of women's football. I also played football for more than 10 years. Played for the U17 and second team of Bayern Munich, and still playing a little bit by the side at the moment. And yeah, very happy to discuss the big game from last weekend.
Yeah, it was. I mean, so it's great to have you on the channel tonight. It's great to get a different perspective. Obviously, you cover the game in your job, and you've also played as well. So it's great to have you on the show tonight. Looking forward to discussing all the topics with you, and of course Matt as well. I know we can't see you, Matt. We know you're there somewhere walking about in the distance.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm looking forward to our chats as we usually do. Obviously you can hear cars going by left, right and centre, so I'm going to try and mute as much as possible, but when you need me I'll be there. Looking forward to it, especially welcome to Andrea. I'm looking forward to what you've got to say, and it's always interesting to get other people's opinions, as Richard has already said. So I'm looking forward to tonight, and as always the weekend doesn't start until we start the podcast.
Actually, the weekend doesn't start until we finish the podcast, but yeah, we can't get the weekend going until we're done. So so it's great to have all you guys on board with us tonight. And I suppose the only place really that we can start is just sort of rewinding 6 days ago to what was and what is always the biggest game in the WSL season. I mean, certainly from an Arsenal perspective, the fact that Chelsea equalised so late on in the game, a minute off, so from the end of normal time, it did feel, and it still does looking back on it, as a missed opportunity for Arsenal to, gain 3 points on Chelsea, which could well be so important in the title race. We know how tight it was last season. And I felt overall Arsenal probably just shaded the game. We certainly had the better chances to score goals throughout. We missed 2 or 3 really big opportunities. We got ourselves in front, couldn't get the second goal, and then fair play to Chelsea at the end. Emma made some positive substitutions, and it made a difference. We maybe ran out of legs a little bit. I'm not sure why we didn't maybe make more changes to freshen things up. But anyway, Chelsea did get back into it. And I say that very, very late goal from Sam Kerr, which felt really frustrating at the time. I mean, Andreas, I know you was in the stadium, another really big crowd at the Emirates. Fantastic to see, a really good atmosphere, it seemed. And it was a good Arsenal performance, wasn't it, against a very good Chelsea side. But we just couldn't quite get it over the line, could we, again?
Yeah, it was all in all was fantastic atmosphere and great match, and it was totally different to the United match. We criticized the team a lot for the performance against United. It was totally different against Chelsea. We were spot on from the first second. We were dominant, and we won a lot of balls back in the midfield. I think our midfield did great against Chelsea. The first half was good, but the second half, I think we would have deserved to win. Although you have to say the penalty was, in my opinion, a soft penalty. Yeah. When it happened and the referee pointed to the or showed the point, Amar was sitting near me and he said, "Oh, was it offside?" I said, "No, it's a penalty." "Oh no!" So seeing it later on TV, I have to say it was a foul, but it wasn't in the box. So I think the foul, at least it started outside the box. So it was really a soft penalty for us, but it was a deserved lead. And Kim is so cool from the point. Fantastic done with all the pressure at this moment. We said this is maybe one of the most important moments in the whole season, and she scored very cool, and it was a deserved lead. And after this, we had two really big chances when Sajira Musovic was really great, and I have to say that the draw is just for us it felt like two points lost, and for Chelsea it's like they have had a late winning of the game, and it's up to Emma Hayes and her coaching. She risked a lot. She brought 4 subs in, and this is what I have to criticize Jonas. He brought only Katie McCabe in the 81st minute. For many weeks, for many months, we said we don't have the chance to react from the bench. There were no players on the bench. This time we had a full bench with possibilities to react in defense. He could have brought Noel, Jen, Lotta in defense, or strengthened the midfield with Pelova. Mana was still there and cool. And for the offense line, Katie, and he could have reacted. And only bringing one sub in a part of the game when you saw Chelsea is risking everything now. There would have been a chance for counter-attacks, for everything, but we were just trying to defend, and in the end, the risk that Emma took, she was rewarded with a late goal, and it was a perfect cross and a perfect header. So I think it was not to be defended in this situation. When the cross came in, I had the feeling, oh, this is it. And then Sam Kerr was there, and a great match, but lost 2 points in the end, and I think it was bad management once again.
Yeah, I kind of agree. We did have, as you rightly said, we had a strong bench for the first time in a long while with the new signings that we had. Yes, we don't know how fit they were or how much training they had with the team, perhaps. But even so, surely they could have come on for 10, 15 minutes. Surely they must have been able to give that. They've been playing regular football. I was really surprised at that. We looked tired, didn't we, towards the end? We looked like we had nothing left to give because we'd worked so hard to get in front. And it did feel like we should have freshened it up. I mean, John, obviously, from your perspective, being a former player as well, I mean, what did you make of the game overall? And obviously, the result, do you think it was a fair result, or maybe Chelsea were a little bit fortunate? I know they scored late, but did they deserve that overall, do you feel?
I think in the end they deserved the draw because Arsenal didn't make more of their chances, because they had a lot of chances to score already in the first half. I believe they were a much better team in the first half from the start. They played a very high pressing, not even letting Chelsea play their build up. Chelsea didn't really get into the game until I think 10 minutes before halftime, and Arsenal had their first big chance, I believe, in the 10th minute, where they could have already scored. There, obviously, you can see that Beth Mead and Vivian Miedema are missing, because the Arsenal got in front of the goal, but ultimately the shot putting the ball at the back of the net, that was what was missing in the end. So I think, after the penalty, after the goal, they sat back a little bit, and maybe also didn't have the power anymore, because they did the pressing all the time and didn't have any more substitutes. So obviously Chelsea came in with fresh players, and they were only going for the draw in the end. And in the end it was Sam Kerr with her individual class, and also very great pass from Sankovic there. I think Emma Hayes said in the press conference that what she thinks is the best quality about Sam Kerr is that she stays focused until the very end. I think that was what was the important part in the end, because the Arsenal defenders seemed like they were already happy with the result, and then lost sight of Sam Kerr in one action, and that was what was the decision in the end.
Yeah, I mean, she was kept quiet, wasn't she, Sam Kerr, for most of the game? She hardly got a look in, and then suddenly, but that's what I suppose great strikers do, don't they? They get one chance at the end and they take it, and it makes a massive difference, and that's what happened. And yeah, I do think Arsenal did sit back at 1-0 and didn't really push on. And we had that one chance straight after the goal, didn't we? I think it was it Caitlin Ford had an effort, didn't she? She didn't quite get good connection on it. And again, it was another opportunity gone. But after that, we didn't really create too much, did we? In the last 20 minutes, we sat back, as you said, and we invited pressure onto us. And when you're playing a team with the quality that Chelsea have got, unfortunately, you're always open to a bit of quality, as they showed, and got the goal. And it was frustrating from an Arsenal perspective, because we were in a great position. We put ourselves in a great position. I agree. We started the game really well. And in the first half, we were the better team. We had the better chances. And then we got the goal in the second half, and you thought, what a platform to go on and win the game and get 3 massive points. But yeah, we were too passive in that last 20 minutes, and it cost us. And that's something that maybe, I don't know, I felt from watching the game that we were maybe a little bit too almost scared a little bit, as though that the occasion got to us and we wasn't brave enough to take the game onto Chelsea and get the second goal and kill it off. And it's almost like, we've got one goal, that's going to be enough, let's hope it's enough. And I don't know, I felt as though we just lacked that conviction of getting the second goal, which would have killed the game, because there's no way Chelsea would have come back from 2-0 down at that stage. I just didn't feel that they would, which was a shame. I mean, obviously, Matt, you was there as well, wasn't you, on Sunday? It was a great game of football. Just unfortunately, we couldn't quite get over the line, could we? Again, against Chelsea, they don't know when they're beaten, do they? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think this is the one thing I always go back on about Chelsea, is that no matter what, they always end up getting, I know it sounds a bit petty, but they always end up getting the lucky goal. It's a Pernil Harder or a Fran Kirby, or in this case it was the Australian Sanogo who ends up scoring this time. But if I'm honest, I looked throughout the game, I've just been there, that atmosphere was way better than it was against United. United, it was dead quiet, but this time the atmosphere was a lot better. People were trying to start chants, people were trying to carry it on. Me and Melissa were right by Emma Hayes' bench, so it was quite funny actually. A couple of times she went.
I hope you give her some stick.
We did. We told her to get back in her box, and Champions of Europe, you'll never be that. We were singing all the classics. But honestly, looking at the game from minute 1 we were looking to score. And what I loved about it was that the typical chance that we have in the first 10 minutes, through ball on the right hand side, Beth Mead would have come and collect that, should shoot and should score. That's 1-0 Arsenal. This time on the end of it, it was Stina goes to shoot and she shot straight at the keeper, which again kind of annoyed me, because there was a couple of chances that it wasn't just Stina, it was Frida. The chances that they had, they were just putting it straight at the goalkeeper. And Chelsea just looked like, right, okay, we'll just sit outside the box and all you're going to have is long ranges. And we just didn't take advantage in the first half, which was a real shame, because that would have made a difference in the end. Then comes going towards the 60th minute, Chelsea make their subs, Ran Kirby comes on, bit of a different game, but we get the penalty, we score the penalty. I was hoping we would get a second. And the problem was that Katie was actually, before I go on to the second half, that was part of the supporters club's presentation for Jordan and Vic Akers. I don't know if you knew they were in the crowd or not, but
yes, they were.
That was great to be part of, just to let them be honorary members. But I think they were both hoping for Arsenal wins. Unfortunately, didn't get it. But yeah, from the 60th minute, we just didn't look the same, and it was a real shame, to be honest. I was hoping that we were going to press on, go forwards. Katie was actually meant to come on around the 75th minute, something like that. The problem was that the ball went out of play for a throw-in, and we only just wanted to make the sub, and then we weren't. But they turned around and said no. So I'm a bit confused about why they didn't allow the sub to go on for a throw, considering it was the ball's out of play. And one of the other things that really annoyed me is that, again, a throw-in went out, and we were about to bring on Plover, who I would imagine got off for either Stina or Frida. Either Caitlin would have gone further forward, Alina would have gone left wing, and then you'd have Plover on the right hand side, and it just didn't work. And as soon as they scored, he just turned around to her and just said, no, you stay as it is, which I thought was a real demoralising. You could have just turned around and said, right, okay, we're still making that change, it's all or nothing now. So again, I'm a bit annoyed about the way that result's been, but it's something that we've got to learn from, and hopefully this weekend, because we're going to be at Brighton, it'll be a chance for them, all three of them, to have their Arsenal WSL first appearance for Arsenal, which will be huge.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we were looking forward to seeing them play on Sunday, but it didn't quite happen. We've actually got Amar with us. How are you doing, Amar? Good to see you.
All right, mate. Not too bad, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad at all. I know you've had a difficult day today, so good to see you here tonight. Hope you're okay. Obviously, we've just been talking about the Chelsea game. Yes. A great game of football. I know, obviously, you watched it with Andreas at the Emirates, which was great. I mean, do you look on it as 2 points dropped? I mean, it's never a bad result, a draw against Chelsea, because they're such a good side. But over that game, we should have won, shouldn't we?
Yeah, there's no question we should have won. The stats tell you all you need to know. They only had 2 shots on target, and they scored with their second one. And other than that, Manu barely had any chance to make the whole game. We had enough chances to kill that game off, even when it was 1-0. Yeah, okay, I agree. When you look back again, it probably wasn't a penalty. But then again, the call for VAR, it's blatantly obvious. They've talked about using. I'll be brief on this point. So they talked about using it in a small capacity, with the former referee who's now married to Howard Webb, Viviana Steinhaus Webb. Yeah, she's been saying they'll be using it in some capacity, but who knows when? Because these bad decisions happening every week. If you think about it, when Chelsea played Reading just before Christmas, it happened last week. Maybe possibly with a penalty. But who knows when that's going to be? At the end of the day, it's down to the authorities, it could be argued that we lost the title on that because of a terrible decision last season. But we won't think about that. But overall, there's no question we should have won the game. If you think about it, Lena probably should have gone with her foot maybe when she crossed it rather than try to head it. Steph Catley at the bar. And also in the first half, was it Lena when she got to go for the side net? She just tweeted it to Caitlin Ford. She had a tap in.
Yeah.
Tap in. So there's no question we had enough chances, and we should have been a bit bolder more on the substitutions. Maybe had to put in another defensive midfielder, or like to see one of the new signings make their debuts. But when you dominate a game like we haven't done, it did feel like a defeat, I must say. And if you think about it, that's now 5 points we've dropped from winning positions this season. Whereas in the whole of last season, we didn't drop a single point from a winning position. So it just goes to show you the margins are so fine at this level.
You're right, yeah. I mean, last season we didn't drop any points from winning positions. And already, as you said, I mean, the Man United game, we should have won that game, or at least got something. We lost this game, we should have won, and we've drawn. And those two results against two teams that we're fighting with the title could prove to be really, really important. I mean, they might end up being a really important point against Chelsea when the season's done. You never know. But at this moment in time, it does feel like a little bit of a wasted opportunity to have gained those 3 points, as we did last season when we beat Chelsea. So, frustrating, but I think what we need to kind of say is what a great game of football it was, and what a great advert for the WSL, and what a great advert for women's football. And it tends to be when Arsenal and Chelsea play each other, you do tend to get a fantastic game of football, don't you? Because it's two great teams that go head to head, and it's quite often a tight game as it proves to be. I mean, Adriana, I really wanted to talk to you about obviously the way women's football has progressed, certainly over the last 2 or 3 years in particular. I mean, it's been great to see, hasn't it? What do you think's been the main driving force behind the improvements in everything to do with women's football, from the way that the teams are set up and the way they're playing to the coverage it gets in the media? Everything's improved, hasn't it? So much, so quickly.
Yeah, I guess the first thing I would think of is that it's just got a lot more professional, and has gone a lot more money into women's football, and obviously that led to better football games, actual football games. So that led to more people coming to the games, and ultimately at the Euros there was reached the very high peak, and after that there was almost like you could feel an explosion in people who recognized that this was also a very good game of football. It doesn't have to be men's football all the time. And I mean, now we can see with the big games at the Emirates, I think it was about around 47,000 people. I mean, that's amazing. And I mean, the next goal is that every game can be played in a bigger stadium and reach a bigger audience. And I think that's very good for women's football. Very good progression.
It is. I mean, it's been remarkable, really, when you look at where women's football was even 2 years ago, in terms of the attendances at matches and just the quality of the football overall. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, was it, when Arsenal, for example, could win 9-10-0. Chelsea were winning 8-9-0 quite often in the league because of the gap between the very top teams and the rest. Now that gap's really closed, and we've seen so many close games between all the teams. You know, even Chelsea, like when you mentioned the game against Reading, when Chelsea played Reading, you know, it was 3-2, and in the past Chelsea would have won that game probably 5-6-0. So it goes to show, doesn't it, how much the standards of the so-called lesser teams, if you like, have improved, and they're catching up, aren't they? Which is great. And look at Aston Villa, the players they've been buying. You know, they're going to be a real threat, aren't they, if they can get them playing as a team, because they've got some fantastic players now as well. So it's fantastic. And what I've liked about it as well is the fact that now, even people that maybe a year or 2 years ago didn't really take women's football that seriously, now they're taking it seriously, because they're seeing, as you rightly said there, Adriana, the professionalism that's gone on now behind the scenes. You know, everything is now more professional. Obviously, the teams are professional, which helps, I suppose, as well. But everything is, isn't it? The way it's produced, the way it's put across in the media, and also on the pitch, which is the main thing, isn't it? It's such a great product now. The WSL in particular is a fantastic product to watch. great football. We're getting really competitive matches, and we've got once again looking like another really exciting title race. You know, we're at halfway through the season, but it's already looking like it's going to go down to the final game again, and that's fantastic for women's football, isn't it? So, it's been fantastic. It's been a great ride. We've all been enjoying it, certainly the last few years in particular. So, it's great, and let's hope it continues. My only worry is, and I don't know how you see it, Adrian, obviously being, I know you're not based in England, but what you, in terms of as it gets bigger, more crowds and maybe playing in bigger stadiums, are we going to lose that personal touch that we seem to have with women's football? You know, you feel like you're friends with the players, you feel like you know them, you feel like they're your family almost. And are we going to lose that if we start playing in the Emirates all the time? And if we're playing at the big stadiums with 40,000 fans, it's going to become, or I worry, it's going to become less personal. And that kind of would be a shame, because that's what makes it so great, isn't it? Or it's one of the things that makes it so great.
Yeah, I feel like that will happen sooner or later, because there's just there are many more fans that it's more difficult for the players to interact with them individually. So I think that will happen if women's football continues to grow like this. But at the same time, I think this personal level could still be kept up with when the players keep speaking up about issues that what is not really happening in the men's game. I think there's still a difference, and I think this aspect will be more interesting to see if that will change with more recognition for the players, or if they will keep speaking up about issues and use their platform.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's certainly since the Euros, you notice that the Lioness players in particular have been really vocal, haven't they, about the issues that are so important to women's football. That's great to see, and hopefully that will help it grow, and it will help keep promoting it in a positive way, which is so important, because that's been missing, hasn't it? Up until recent years, it hasn't been promoted in a positive way at all by anybody, and now it is, and it's great to see the change and how much the improvements are. And we've got quite a few comments are in actually already. We'll have to go back to a few. We've been slightly behind on some of them. Herman says there, hello Richard, Adriana and Andreas. That was before Matt and Amar were in. Terry as well, it says, good evening Richard, Andreas, and welcome Adriana indeed. Terry says, to be honest, I felt disappointed for the girls and Arsenal fans. Yeah, I think we was all frustrated, really, wasn't we? But it was a good performance overall. Herman said, I've seen the entire match, and like Andreas said, it was a great match. All the girls gave 100%. Yeah, they did. Our girls probably gave so much that at the end they had nothing left. They were on empty, wasn't they? And that's why we should have made more subs and freshened it up. But anyway, Terry says, Adriana, spot on, not taking our chances has been a problem this season. Yeah, we seem to struggle killing teams off. Yeah, we do. We're not taking enough chances. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And that's something we need to put right if we're going to maintain where we are. Herman says, Jonas could have strengthened the team from the bench for the last 20 minutes. Yeah, he should have done. We had players there, bring some on, freshen it up. Emma did, and it paid off. They got the goal, and that's what changed the game. Herman says they're very glad to see Kim on the pitch. I love that play. Yeah, we've missed her, haven't we? It was great to see her. First game she started, actually, isn't it, since her injury? So it was good to see her back. Herman says you have to be brave and attack. Yeah, I thought we needed to be braver. Yeah, we were the better team. We should have took that on and won the game. We've got Magnificent Jafar in the chat here, and he says, big up to the panel. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, we're not doing too bad at all, my friend. He says, we missed so many chances with Viv and Bev. Maybe it would have been a different scoreline. Yeah, I think we know. We won't know for definite, would we? If they had played or one of them had played, would we have won the game? We'll never know. But yeah, I think we all feel that may have been the difference in the end. You know, their best player or their top goal scorer was on the pitch, got an important goal. If our best player, our top goal scorer was on the pitch, they may well have got a goal as well, and it may well have been enough. We've got there. Abu Bakari says there, we don't know how to manage these games. If it were Chelsea in the lead, we weren't getting back in the game. They would have pressed the ball more often. Yeah, I actually agree with you there, 100%. I do feel as though Chelsea would have managed, or they do manage those situations better, don't they? And we, last season against Chelsea, we were 3-1 up. They scored, made it 3-2, and we were hanging on, weren't we, at the end? And we got away with that one. We wasn't quite able to this time. Terry says, come on, Matt, start jogging. Well, he's got, I think he might be home soon. That's probably
why he's on. He's out of breath. Yeah.
I think he's getting himself sorted out. Herman says, our Arsenal ladies have to practice scoring goals with fewer passes, a la Haaland.
Well,
we need to take the chances.
Come on.
We need to. We just.
We could be like Erling Haaland, isn't it?
We just need to take our chances, don't we? We're creating chances. We just need to. We just need to take them, really. Jafar says, I always said, Richard, this season we've been very poor in set pieces. In United game, it was, and so many games we've been conceding through set pieces. I don't know who is in charge of them. Yeah, I mean, the goal against Chelsea wasn't a set piece. It was a cross into the box. A similar situation from a set piece. It was a set piece, but yeah, it was a set piece like goal. And we've got to learn to defend them situations better. We have, there's no doubt. It's cost us 3 points against Man United. It's cost us 2 points against Chelsea, and those extra points we'd be flying, wouldn't we? So yeah, it's something we do need to improve. We definitely do need to improve, no doubt about that. Herman says if Beth and Viv would have been in this match, we would have won. Yeah, well, we may have done. We won't know for certain.
No question.
Yeah, we hope. We can hope that we would have done. Jafar says we only made one substitution in time 90 minutes with the quality we have on the bench. Sometimes I don't understand how Jonas does with his team. Yeah, we've mentioned that. I don't know why he didn't bring on more players. We cried out. We would have been crying out for a bigger squad, more quality on the bench. We had it on Sunday, and we didn't use it. That was disappointing. Herman says a lot of tickets sold, and I hope that they the ladies footballers will play more in a big stage. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they will. We've had, 6-7 games already at the Emirates this season. It's been brilliant. Let's hope there's a few more later on. And Homer says that when the Arsenal men were not playing well, I was always happy to see our ladies. Yeah, I mean, you should see them anyway, regardless of how the men are doing. We want to see the ladies anyway. It doesn't matter. And Homer says, I'm trying to find out whether Viv had her operation done. Yep, she had it done a week or so ago now, maybe. So she's in recovery. But it's going to be a long time. Let's be honest, it is going to be a long time.
July.
Yeah, it will be a long time. Terry said, I think if Meadow and Viv were playing, we would have lost. They're both on crutches. I see what you mean, yeah. If they'd been playing on their crutches, we would have lost, yeah, definitely, because we'd been playing with 9 players.
Very funny.
We have got Matt, but I don't know if he's actually back properly yet, or if he's in his house yet, or if he's still sorting himself out. But anyway, he's back in. He dropped out just before. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, a great game of football between two great sides, and unfortunately, we couldn't quite get it over the line. But I've always said, if you can't win a game, make sure you don't lose. So at least we got a point. Oh, there's Matt. Look, he's here in person. Great to see you. You've managed to make it home. So, yeah, I mean, I think that it's important that you don't lose them sort of games. We wasn't able to hold on against Man U. We lost that game. And had we lost this one from the position that we were in, it would have been a total disaster. So at least we got a point, and we have to cling on to that. So, yeah, brilliant. Let's celebrate the point that we got. Yes, frustrated that we didn't get 3, but we're still in a great position in the league. 3 points behind the game in hand. It's not a bad position to be in, is it? So let's look at the positives. And it was a good performance. We played well for 65, 70 minutes, didn't we? Against what is the best team in the country. They've been the best team for a number of years. So let's take the positives out of it and, move forward, and hopefully we can gain some confidence from how well we played. Because it was, as Andrea said before, it was a totally different performance to Manchester United, wasn't it? When really we completely, I don't know what happened on that game. We were just really, really poor. I don't know if Matt keeps dropping out and dropping in again. No, he's back.
I'm going from my phone to my computer, so now I'm on my computer, so we're all good.
Oh, right, okay.
That's not
a problem at all. Herman says there he's hiding from the FBI. Yeah, maybe he is, but he's not hiding very well, is he? Because we found him. So there you go. We managed to find him. And Terry says, hooray, Matt is back in the game. Yeah, he's back home now, which is great to see. Obviously, apart from the Chelsea game in the last week or so, we have had some exciting transfer news. I mean, I know one player joined, I think, on the night of our last show. So we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. And obviously, we've made another signing as well in the last week. Of course, that is a new goalkeeper, which we did sort of mention, didn't we, on the show last time, because there were rumours that she was going to be joining us. And we were sort of mentioning, I know you was mentioning, Andreas, wasn't it, about, obviously Manu Zinsberger being at the end of her contract and the possibility of her going back to Germany. Do you think that is the reason why we've made this new signing now?
Yeah, I'm sure that's the reason. And the first point might be to put a little pressure on Manu, because she was the definite number one all the time. But I criticized her sometimes because she has her weaknesses, and this is crosses, set pieces, corners, all those balls in the 6 yards box. Very often, her decision making is not the best in these situations, and this costs us in the big games. And maybe this competition will be good for her. And she has not yet decided. I read that she said the contract is running out in summer, but she has the option for 1 more year. She will decide with her fiancé and with her family. So let's see. Sabrina D'Angelo is not coming to the Arsenal to warm the bench. No. She wants to compete, and she is looking for a place for the Canadian World Cup team. And she has no chance to get a place in the Canadian team if she's only sitting on the bench. So she will try her utmost in training to prove that she deserves a chance. And I could imagine that she'll get a chance against Villa or Leeds in the FA Cup. And then Jonas will see how good she is, how she fits in with the defense. You have to say Emma Hayes did a few brave decisions for the match, and if you see, she put Sejira Muzovic in goal. Mm-hmm. Such a big match, and everybody said, why is Anne-Catherine Berger not playing? But I remember that in December, Berger had 2 weaker matches in which she conceded 2 goals due to mistakes she made. And I think Emma is in such situations. She's looking very sharp and training on the matches, and she said, okay, when I bring Musovic, she's always did a good job. And for me, she was the player of the match. We had a lot of chances, and she was always on top. She made no mistake, and for so less game time she had, it was a really great performance. And maybe this is something we need to do, a competition between the goalkeepers. And Sabrina D'Angelo is not a number 2 goalkeeper. It's at least it's number 1A and 1B, but the next weeks will show whether she can be number 1, and then this will influence Manu Zinsberger's decision. What she will do.
Yeah, I think it may do. Yeah, I mean, where do you think it leaves Kaylin Marquise then? Because obviously she's been our number 2 goalkeeper, and now we've got 3 goalkeepers. It's like you're not going to use 3 goalkeepers, are you? Where do you think it leaves her? Do you think she might go out on loan, or what do you think is going to happen there?
Yeah, difficult to say. She was Sabrina D'Angelo signed during the week and was already in the squad, and Kaylin Marquise in the squad. So yeah, maybe she'll go out on loan, or they will have a competition with 3. We'll see. We have another goalkeeper with Fran Stenson on loan. There will have been difficult decisions in summer, but just for now, I think it's between Manu and Sabs D'Angelo, and Kaylin will be number 3 only if she stays.
Yeah, it's funny. We got 100 goalkeepers, and we've only got one sort of out-and-out striker now, which seems a bit imbalanced in the squad, doesn't it? But anyway, you can't have too many great players. I always look on it, really. I mean, Adriana, what do you know about Sabrina D'Angelo then? Obviously, we know she's a good goalkeeper, potentially. Do you think it's a good signing for Arsenal?
I haven't heard much about her yet, but I think it's always good to keep the pressure on the first goalkeeper, and maybe actually leads to Zinsberger improving her performance. As Andreas said, she lacks a little bit of confidence in the box for the high balls, and especially for set pieces, and that's also how Arsenal conceded many of their goals. So maybe D'Angelo has a very good presence there. I don't know, but obviously that could keep up the pressure for Zinsberger, and will in the long term probably also be the option, the number 1 option if Zinsberger leaves next season.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, it puts pressure on the number 1 goalkeeper, and that's never going to be a bad thing overall. It's just, as Andrea said as well, she's not come to be number 2, has she? Especially with the World Cup coming up. So it's going to be really interesting now over the next few weeks, isn't it? She's going to get opportunities in the cup games, as we mentioned, I'm sure. And she's got an opportunity to make her claim for number one place because, I don't think Manu Zinsberger's doing anything wrong, particularly, yes, she can be weak on crosses sometimes, and that's something that she maybe can improve on, and maybe Sabrina is a lot better in those. I haven't seen enough of her play, if I'm honest, but maybe she's stronger in that area, and that's maybe why she's been brought in. We'll have to see. But yeah, Manu's been a great goalkeeper for us, I think, over the last 2 or 3 seasons in particular. I think she's been really strong, solid. But yeah, maybe it's time for an upgrade, and maybe that's what we've done, and we'll see how that works out. Emma, do you know much about Sabrina? Have you seen her play much? And if so, what do you think she's going to bring that Manu can't bring, if you see what I mean, to the team?
I can't say I've seen too much of her play, but she speaks well from her interview, and she could maybe bring a bit more solidity to that back line and maybe a bit more better organisation defensively. That's not to say that Manu doesn't, but yeah, she has known the big games too. Yeah, she has become reliable, but maybe she can offer a bit more solidity to the back line for sure. And we wish her all the best. And that's it, really. I really don't know that much about her, if I'm being honest, but if she wants to get into the World Cup squad, then playing for a top WSL club like us can certainly help her go a long way to achieving that. So hopefully, so she'll get, maybe, who knows, even next week, Jonas might give her her debut in the Conti Cup or in the FA Cup against Aston Villa or Leeds. It remains to be seen, but good luck to her, and hopefully she can do well with us.
Yeah, that's what we want. All new players. It's exciting when you see a new player come into the club. You want to see what they can bring, and just because it's a goalkeeper doesn't mean it's any less exciting because it's a new player. We want to see what she can do. We don't know that much about. Matt, have you seen her play that much? Have you sort of followed her all that much, or is it going to be kind of a new experience in a way for you as well to see her play?
Yes and no. As I've been told that she was in the Olympic squad for Canada in Tokyo, and Andreas has gone. Oh,
where's Andreas gone? He pops in and then he pops out again. Let's put him back in his spot where he goes. There we go.
So and similar to Andrea, as she was talking about, she comes from crosses and things like that. That's things that I've heard as well. And I think, if I'm honest, it does look like she's got that inconsistency where she's not really in the US squad, so she's not going to be qualified. She's not going to be battling out to be the number 1, number 2, number 3, whereas D'Angelo will be. So the important thing for me would be that she's in the contention for that number 1 shirt. There's a chance that she could get it because a lot of the Canadian goalkeepers are retiring, or they will retire after this World Cup. So it's a chance for her to get an open chance. But I think, if I'm honest, if we were to put numbers on it or anything, I think we'll see her definitely against Aston Villa.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it'd be good to see it, won't it? To see what she can do, because that's going to be a difficult game against a very, very good side, as we've seen what players they've bought. So it'd be interesting to see. But of course, it hasn't just been players coming into the club in the last week or so. There's been obviously a couple of big. I know last time we did speak about Jordan leaving because she had left that week of the last show. But obviously, Manuela Bocci's gone on loan, not very far away, just up the road to Tottenham on loan till the end of the season, which, to be honest with you, I'm not surprised she's not been getting any game time, really. Terry says gutted Manor went to Spurs. Anyone else I wouldn't have minded. So anywhere else I wouldn't have minded. So yeah, to be honest with you, I just think from her career perspective, with the World Cup coming up as well, she needs to be playing football. And she was never ever going to get enough game time at Arsenal for whatever reason. We don't really know for certain, but she just wasn't getting minutes. You could see. I noticed it after the game against Chelsea, where the team did their huddle. And the camera kind of zoomed in on Leah Williamson because she was talking at the time. And it happened to be Manuela Bocci was standing right next to her. And you could tell by the look on her face, she wasn't happy. And I wasn't surprised when the next day the news came through that she'd left, or the day after, whatever it was. So, Andreas, why do you think it didn't quite work out for Mana at Arsenal? Because we know she's a quality player. Was it the tactics didn't quite suit her, or do you think there's some other issues going on? Because we never got to see the best of her, really, did we?
what I said a few weeks ago, as she was not Jonas signing. That's the main problem. Arsenal signed her a few weeks before Jonas came in, and I think he has other expectations on his players. Mana had a good start at the Arsenal. When you remember the matches for the Champions League qualification last season, she was very good. She scored a wonderful goal, and in was it the FA Cup against Tottenham, or where she scored an important goal. She had a good start, and she's a player with creativity and ideas, what we are lacking in our midfield sometimes. So I didn't understand why she didn't get any chance from Jonas, but maybe she didn't fit in his tactic plans or in his expectations on midfielders. So I think, to be honest, she wouldn't have had a chance to get minutes or play regularly, and so it was totally understandable from her point of view that she wanted to go out. But going to Tottenham, well, this wasn't the best idea. When you see the rivalry between Arsenal and Spurs, so I would have preferred if she goes to West Ham, if she wants to stay in London. Well, for her personally, I say good luck, Mana. Not for Tottenham, but I would be happy for her if she makes it to the Japanese squad for the World Cup. She deserves this. She's 29 and she's such a technical, wonderful player. It would be great to see her in the World Cup this year.
This year, it's this year now, yeah. No, you're right. I mean, she is a great player, and it'll be great to see her at the World Cup. And I'm sure that's behind the move, isn't it? So she can get minutes on the pitch, because that's what she's been lacking. She's hardly played for, pretty much a year, really. She's hardly played, has she? She's been in and out on the bench, not coming on. And it's a shame it didn't quite work out at Arsenal. And I'm pretty sure that at the end of the season, when the loan's finished, she will leave Arsenal permanently, whoever that is, whether it's to Tottenham or whether it's somewhere else. We'll have to wait and see. But I do feel that we've maybe seen her last game for Arsenal. And she did score, didn't she? Her last appearance was that game in Zurich, and she did score the last goal. So I suppose she scored on her first game in that Champions League qualifier, and she scored in what will be her last game in the Champions League against Zurich as well. So nice bookends to her Arsenal career, perhaps. But shame it didn't work out, because she's a great person and a great player, and it's just a shame. I mean, Adriana, what did you make of Meadow Park's time at Arsenal? Because it never happened for her, did it? Really, at the club, the time she'd been there.
Yeah, I mean, she, as you said, she didn't get a lot of game time, and that's what you need to also build your confidence. And if you lack that, that's not good for your game. And I've actually seen her play when she played for Bayern Munich back in the years. And I mean, she's a great player, very good with the ball. But in the end, she needs the game time, especially for the World Cup. And if she didn't fit in with the tactical system, I mean, then there's not a possible way that she can actually find a way back to the pitch for Arsenal. So I think it was a good decision for her.
Yeah, maybe it was a shame for her from her perspective. Maybe she didn't move in the summer, and she'd have maybe had a full season somewhere else, whether it was at Tottenham or somewhere, just to play the whole season, because it was obvious she wasn't going to get much game time with us. With the players that we signed, well, obviously we bought Lena Hurtig in the summer, another kind of midfield player, a similar sort of position to her, and obviously since then we've now bought another couple as well, haven't we? So it is a shame it never quite worked out. I mean, Matt, I know you obviously you like Meadow Park quite a lot, don't you? She's given some good memories, but it's the best move for her, isn't it? Not necessarily to Spurs, but to move out of Arsenal has been the best move for her, isn't it?
Yeah, and the problem I think I've been beating the drum all season about it, is that there was opportunities where she could have come into games. I think the times against Reading, we were 1-0 up. At the time, she could have come on. She could have made the game changer. And it was just games like that where she could have come on. She could have made an influence, and she could have changed the game instead of it being a 1-0 game or or I look at United, maybe it wouldn't have been 3-2. It could have been 3-2 Arsenal. She could have ended up doing that sort of thing. But I have fond memories, Manor. The first game I went to, Aston Villa, she started them everything off with a flick on with the goal, and then everything fell into place. The game against PSV in the qualifiers, during that summer as well. That she knows how to score goals, and she's not afraid to let one loose if needed to. And I think one of the fantastic ones as well was the double nutmeg against Tottenham.
Yeah,
because we were losing at the time, and to just be able to not only do that at the time, but when you're 1-0 down and still got a nutmeg two players and score, it's just you don't see it often. It wasn't just us; the fans liked her. They really liked her as a player, and they knew what she was about. And the players loved her as well, which was also the main thing as well. But it's just at the end of the day, if you're not part of Jonas's system, if you're not involved in it, or you don't fit it in whatever way because he wants you to do something certain, and he doesn't think you're at it. I've actually seen a few people suggest that he doesn't like short people, which I think is a bit of a harsh decision thing, considering that.
He likes you, Matt, so that can't be the reason, because he likes you.
No. I've had a couple of photos with him, so yeah, that is true. But man is shorter than me. She's 5'2", and I'm 5'4". But I was going to say, if that's the case, it kind of makes sense with Jordan. But then you're kind of looking at Kim Little and thinking, she better not leave. She better not be leaving. So I just think it's just, it was obviously that her time was coming to an end, and for her to go, to be honest, it doesn't really bother me that she's gone to Tottenham, because the history's not there as much as it is with the men.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'd be more glad if she went to Chelsea, because Chelsea are our rivals more than Tottenham, aren't they?
Yeah, I would have preferred her to go to someone like a West Ham, or I would imagine she would have done quite well in like a Leicester team. But I think if you look at it solely, Mano Urobuchi will bring out the best in Beth England, and if they happen to just get points against Manchester United and Chelsea, then it helps. To be honest, I imagine Chelsea, Man City are going to be in that top three. I still think United will boss that at some point. They always do. And if Mana's part of it, I think if we can almost say Agent Mana.
It'd be great, wouldn't it? If she scores the winning goals against Man United and Chelsea, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Then she'll be welcome back at the end of the season in our title party. She can join in, can't she? Come on the pitch and celebrate with the trophy with us. Herman says it seems similar to Nikita Parris. Yeah, it does seem similar to Nikita Parris in terms of it never really quite worked out at Arsenal for whatever reason. But, two very good players, obviously. Herman also says my entire text was erased in this, as he says, Interpol. Our text, I think you can only write a certain number of characters in a message. That might be why it got deleted. I don't know. Obviously, Amar, you'd be sad to see Meadow Park leave, or temporarily leave at least till the end of the season, or do you think it's the right thing, isn't it? Let's be honest.
No, it was the right thing. There was with the midfield we've got now, it's as strong as it's ever been, even with Jordan leaving as well. I think that we can get, I know it sounds stupid to say we get rid of arguably one of our greatest ever players, and then that Mana goes, who in her time at Arsenal showed not only because she's got the talent to provide, to not just score goals, but she links up the play very well. We saw last season with her goals. But it just goes to show, it's testament now to, I suppose, to the depth of the squad that they can let those players go. And if she ends up scoring goals against our rivals, we'll thank her at the end of the season for it. So, no, I'm sad to see her go, but we wish her all the best, and hopefully she can help us along the way, maybe, and get a few results. So let's see.
They've got Chelsea in the Conti Cup, haven't they? If I remember rightly.
That's right, on Wednesday, yes, Conti Cup. Yeah. So Mana and Beth will both of you play against Chelsea. Oh, it could be intriguing, yeah.
It will be. That'll be interesting, won't it? See what happens there. But yeah, it's a good move for her, I'm sure, and I'm sure she'll have an impact at Tottenham. But they've signed some good players. I'm sure that she's going to settle in well there and do well. And I'm sure, as Andrea said right at the beginning, let's hope she's at the World Cup and we can enjoy her playing for Japan. Unless, of course, they have to play England, and we won't be so happy to see her play well then. But I'm sure we'll be glad to see her. I mean, obviously the transfer window is still open. We've still got a couple of weeks still remaining. Are we going to bring anyone more else in? I know there's been a few rumours of a striker potentially. Alessia Russo we're hearing. I don't know whether that's got any legs in it or not. It'd be nice, wouldn't it, to get her in the team? But I can't see Man United selling her to us at this point in the season. But we'll see. I mean, Andreas, are you expecting any other signings now, or do you think we've done our business for January? I mean, it's been good signings that we've made, so it's been positive. But is there anyone else coming, do you think?
I think we'll make another signing. At least we are trying to do. But on the other side, you must say, why are we making all these quality signings if Jonas doesn't use them in the match? Once again, this must change, and I hope he'll give Palova and Cool chances in the cup matches, Continental Cup and the FA Cup. And I would say we need a striker. We need someone who makes out of the many chances we create, just make goals out of it. And Stina is lacking self-confidence. She's scoring in these situations. She's not. It of course would be a dream if we could sign Alessia Russo, but I can't see her coming in this winter transfer window. And the problem for United is she has refused to sign a new contract, and she's a free agent in summer. So there will be a lot of offers for her. And I think she wears number 23 at United, so 23 is now free at the Arsenal.
Well, maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a sign.
But number 8 is also free now. So we are. I'm sure we are trying to sign a striker like Chloe Lacasse or someone like her, and we would need a striker who scores a lot of goals for us, because we are missing Beth, we are missing Viv, and we have to get used to this situation. We can't say every week if Beth and Viv would.
Yes, that's right.
Then we scored a lot of more goals, and we would have won this. We must get used to this, that they won't play in this season, at least this season. If both will be back for the new season, it's great. But maybe they are out for Viv. I could imagine that she's out for the whole year, maybe. So, and we need someone who scores the goals. And we have top quality players in midfield. We are creating a lot of chances. We are dangerous from the outside with Caitlin. Lena made a good match, but in the middle, we're missing the chances. So I hope for a striker to be signed. Yeah, let's see.
I mean, obviously, Russo would be kind of a bonus in two ways, because it gives us a striker and it takes one away from one of our rivals for the title. So it's a win-win, isn't it, for us? But I'll be amazed if Man United sell her to Arsenal now. At this, maybe in the summer, like you said, she's not going to sign a contract, so she's going to probably move somewhere. Arsenal and Chelsea would probably be favourites because she can stay in England, and they're the two top clubs. But yeah, it'd be lovely to get her, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. I mean, Adriana, what have you made of the transfer window? Because it's been quite busy this January, hasn't it, in the WSL? A lot of players moving. Some of the sort of smaller clubs, if you like, are making big moves, aren't they, in this transfer window?
Yeah, I think the main factor is that the World Cup is this year, that a lot of players still want to get the most game time they can. And obviously, clubs like Aston Villa want to keep up with the bigger clubs. And but yeah, I think also Arsenal, I think they have to do something. They have to. I believe that they will sign a striker, because it's necessary for them. They don't have anyone that actually scores the goals, like at the game against Chelsea. You could clearly see that. And I believe Jonas Eidevall also said today that he still wants to sign a striker. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, let's hope he can, because I agree. I think we do need. I mean, I like Stina, and I think she's been a good signing for us over this last year. She scored quite a few goals, but yeah, we need more options as well, don't we? Because we had the goals that Viv was scoring, we had the goals that Beth was scoring, and the goals Stina was scoring. Now all we've got is the goals that Stina's scoring, and it's not enough, is it? So we do need a striker. Let's hope that we've still got, a couple of weeks or so left, or just under. And let's hope that Jonas can get the player that he wants. And I'm sure whoever it is will do well for us anyway. I mean, Matt, do you think we can get Russo, or do you think that's just rumours and it will never really happen? It would be great though, wouldn't it?
Honestly, it's one of those things that you look at logically. The only way Manchester United make money is if she goes this window, which means we would be the best team to do that, because we need her in, or we need a striker. They know we're kind of desperate at the moment, and she'll probably look. Although it'll be probably double, I'd imagine, what Beth England went for, which was just over £2,500. So it would work. I would probably imagine that's
$250,000.
It'll be, but it just logically it makes sense for Arsenal to make the move. But whether or not United will sell her or be willing to say no, or maybe she's waiting for the end of the season. But to be honest, if I was backing a horse, I'd back United to actually finish fourth in a 3-horse race at the moment, because we know City do like a second to fly out of the gate in the second half of the season, and United just crumble, and it happens time and time again. It's happened 3 years in a row. It's going to happen a fourth time, and I think if she wants to win titles, she wants to be in Champions League. At the moment, for 6 months, Arsenal are her best bet. She's a great player. She knows what she's doing. She's that player that would be able to finally get on the end of Steph Catley's brilliant free kicks, corners. That's what we miss, is someone who's tall and not afraid to use her height. Whereas Stina, she's tall, but she's afraid to head the ball. I always go back to the Aston Villa. It was the first time I've only actually seen her go for a header on target, and it was saved by Hannah Hampton. I don't know much about Lucas, so I don't know how much of an option that would be. From what I've heard, it's a bit of a difficult deal. Obviously, Benfica have got Sporting, I believe it's next week, in their Portuguese Cup, and then in the league as well. So I'd imagine if we are going for Lucas, it will be after they play Sporting, which might mean deadline day. But I'd imagine that if it's not Lucas and it's not Russo, he would have someone else in mind. Ideally, a total striker. But the other option is Gio can play up front.
Yeah, good shot.
As well as on that right-hand side. So it's not like we're lacking. It's just a case of we're almost into the unknown. But Stina needs someone to be telling her she's not the only striker at the club. Otherwise, it seems like a bit with the Manu situation where she just strolls into the team. She can have a bad game, like the Chelsea game. She can hit it. She can just hit it straight at the goalkeeper, and she won't get subbed because there's no other striker on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, that has been an issue, the fact that, since Viv's injury, really. I mean, Caitlin Ford can play there, but then we may be lacking on that left-hand side. I don't know. But, yeah, we definitely need to buy a striker. I think we all know that. Yeah. And let's hope that, if Jonas can't get the ones that he desperately wants now, that he can get somebody in. But we'll have to see. I mean, Lucas or Russo would be good. I mean, Lucas's goal-scoring record is great. So she could potentially be a really, really good signing, but we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, there's still time. Let's not panic just yet. We've made some good signings. It's been a good window, but I agree. I think we need one more, and I do think we need a striker. And it is, Jonas is on the lookout clearly. So let's hope. Yeah, Russo would be the dream. I mean, you've kind of sold the club pretty well there. Maybe you should become our agent, Matt, and then you could maybe get her to join us, because you certainly sold it very well. So if she's listening, if you are listening to the show, Alicia Russo, listen to Matt's little speech there and come and join Arsenal, because
I could have gone Barcelona and Real Madrid and Bayern as well, but I think I would have been a bit harsh on Brighton. But I think there are other teams as well that will be interested. Bayern will be definitely one of them. Madrid, more likely. I don't think Barcelona will. They might be interested, but I don't think she'll go to somewhere like Barcelona. It's too much. She'll be sitting on the bench. I don't think she'll want something like that. She wants to be.
I think she's going to stay in England, definitely. So, you know, and she's from London originally, so, you know, maybe London's a place for her. You know, as the song says, when the team comes out, London calling, maybe London's calling Alicia Russo back to London, and she's going to join Arsenal in the next couple of weeks, which would be great. I mean, Amar, it's been a good transfer window so far for Arsenal, let's be honest. We've made some good positive signings, but can we get this last one over the line, and who will it be? Will it be Russo? Come on, you got to sell it as well as matters. We're looking forward to it.
You know, as much as I would love to see her play for Arsenal, I know she's been in good Chelsea as well. But would you really want to move? When she's spoken well in an interview last week, saying that they're playing as well as ever, it's all down to the camaraderie between the players. And I don't know. I really don't see her leaving this window. Maybe in the summer, but let's see what happens. It would be great to see her come back to a title rival midway through a Premier League, midway through the WSL season. I don't know. I don't see it happening. But as Matt was saying, the Le Castillo is complicated. Whether they can get with that one over the line remains to be seen. But otherwise, I don't know where we'll look to. Because to try and find another genuinely world-class striker again and stick the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis. So I mean, it remains to be seen. There's still another week and a half left. So hopefully, his signings have been pretty good. The one that he's made so far since he came to the club. So hopefully he can find someone maybe we haven't spoken of yet. So I mean, let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, you know, we are so desperate for somebody. I suppose it'd be great if we can get it over the line. We will have to see. Terry says there, Russo was spotted with Leah Williamson delivering takeaways in a car on a TV advert. Really say what you want. Well, I saw them together playing in the same team in the summer. So, you know, they're clearly best mates. So there's no reason why she won't come to Arsenal, let's be honest, you know. Herman says, I watched Pelova playing for Ajax and she appeared to be a pretty good goal scorer. Yeah, she's got a few goals. I'm sure she can add goals to the team. She's not an out-and-out striker, though, is she? She's more like a Beth Mead kind of player, isn't she? She'll get goals from the right-hand side, yeah, rather than through the middle. But she's going to be a good player. I'm sure she is. I've seen her a few times and she does look very good. Herman also says I'm also very impressed with Wayne Rolliter. She's pretty brave. She's been brilliant. She was brilliant against Chelsea again, wasn't she? Every game she's brilliant. So, yeah, she's been a fantastic. See, she signed in January last year. Look how great she is now. So, you know, let's get the players in now and let's hope that it'll work that way. Herman says, have any of you seen the new signings practicing? There's been pictures of them training, hasn't there? But how ready they are to play, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at this moment in time. Terry says, yes, Richard, London's calling at the Clash. Well, they play at the game, don't they, every time the team comes out? So, but yeah, it was out. When was it out? 1979 or so, wasn't it? But yeah, great song. Herman says, perhaps Adriana is capable of scoring a few goals.
Sure, if they sign me.
Very fun.
That would be good, wouldn't it? See, maybe that's why you see. Look, now Adriana's been on the show. Maybe Jonas is going to sign her next week, so that would be good. So we'll look out for that, and maybe she'll score the goals that wins us the title. That would be great, wouldn't it? So obviously there is, you know, that's kind of the transfer window still ongoing, and we're still hopeful of another big name coming in, which would be great. But before all of that, well, potentially before all of that, we've got another big game at the weekend against a team that we generally do well against, but have caused us one or two slight problems in the last couple of years. I suppose it's a strange sort of day to be speaking about Brighton when obviously the men's team have just signed a Brighton player, Leandro Trossard, today, which was a great signing. And the women are now playing Brighton. Whether those two incidents are linked, I'm not really sure. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We are playing Brighton on Sunday, and it is, like all the games, it's a must-win game, isn't it? And like many games, it is a game that will be favourites to win, obviously. I mean, we've won every single away game in the WSL this season so far. And in fact, we haven't lost away from home at all. The only game we didn't win was Juventus in the Champions League when we drew. So our record away from home has been really, really good. And we generally go to Brighton and win. I think we've won every time we've played them away, haven't we, in the WSL? So everything is in our favour in this game. And we did play well against Chelsea. We need to take it into this game. And, of course, there could be some team changes because we have got these new signings. I mean, Andreas, what are you anticipating ahead of this game? Because, again, it's a game we should win, isn't it? Let's be honest. With where the position of the teams in the league, Brighton aren't doing particularly well, and we've got to go there and win. There's no other results good enough, is it?
Yeah, the danger is that everybody says we must win against Brighton. They are playing not the best season so far. They lost against Leicester last weekend, 3-0. But these, especially these games, are difficult and dangerous. You travel there, you are the favorite. You say it's only a question of when we score the first goal, and then of course we'll win. And how many goals will we score there? For us, it's always the bad reminder of the Birmingham game last season. So every opponent serious, and the game starts with 0-0. So of course, when we score the first goal, then things will be easier. But they have a new coach, Adriana, and we know him very well, Jens Scheuer from Bayern Munich. Now this week they signed Lydia Williams, former goalkeeper, Australian international, and there are things going on in Brighton, and you can't sign a new manager and say from this day on things are getting immediately better. They need time.
He stopped. He's frozen.
Oh, Andreas frozen. I think Andreas has frozen. We've lost him just briefly there. I mean, Adriana, obviously, I say you do know the Brighton manager from Bayern Munich. I mean, did you think it's going to be a good appointment for Brighton then overall going forward? Do you think he'll make big improvements there and they'll go on and do much better?
Yeah, I definitely think he's a good choice. He's very, very capable, as he showed with Bayern Munich. I think especially to bring more creativity to the attack game. But yeah, as you said, he needs time. He didn't have a lot of time to for his team to adapt to his play style. But yeah, at the same time, it could be a dangerous situation for Arsenal. Because they're pretty much at the bottom of the table, at the very vulnerable space after they lost 3-0 to Leicester. But at the same time, it shouldn't. I don't think the victory will come easily for Arsenal.
I don't think any game is easy, is it? I know Brighton haven't had some good results, as we mentioned. I mean, I think they lost 8-0 to Tottenham, didn't they, earlier in the season?
Yeah.
So, but. I kind of agree with what Andreas was saying, that the first goal is so important in a game like this, because then we can settle down and go on and win. I mean, I did want to talk to you, actually, Adriana, about the sort of title race. Obviously, I know you're more leaning towards Chelsea, which is fine. How do you see it playing out? Because obviously there's so little to choose between really the top four this season, isn't it? Because even Manchester City are only sort of 3 points sort of further off, aren't they? So it's very, very tight, isn't it? How do you see it playing out now between now and the end of the season? Is it going to be like last season, go right down to the end? Or do you think maybe Chelsea might pull away and win it a little bit more comfortably this season? Or maybe they won't win it at all?
I mean, I hope it goes until the very last game, because I think that's the best as a fan. Just overall, because and also for all the spectators. But I think if I have to guess right now, I think squad-wise, Chelsea's the best at the moment. They only have one injury at the moment with Penela Harder, and as you saw against Arsenal, they still brought a lot of good players from the bench. They have the depth in their squad. If Arsenal had the two injured players available at the moment, I would say it could be a closer run. But I think in the long term, Chelsea will make it.
I don't want to kind of admit it, but I kind of almost feel the same, because Chelsea are just Chelsea, aren't they? They very rarely make many mistakes when it comes to. I mean, look at last season. They had to win their last, whatever it was, 10 games or whatever it was. They had to win because Arsenal kept winning, and they did, and they won every game and saw it over the line. And even in that last game against Manchester United when they were losing, and you thought, oh, is this going to be the moment? And they came back and won. And they kind of do that, don't they? They've got that mentality, haven't they? And you saw it in the Arsenal game, losing 1-0, a couple of minutes to go. They still believed they could get something from the game, threw everything forward and got the goal. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea do win it again. But I do feel as though Arsenal are stronger this season. And despite losing the players to injury that we have, we've made some good signings. And I don't know, I think it's going to be an interesting second half of the season, that's for sure, isn't it? And that's what we want to see. As you said, if it goes to the last game again, that would be incredible, wouldn't it? I mean, what another great title race it would be. But I just hope we don't have to go through that heartbreak again of losing by 1 point or goal difference even. Who knows this year? Could be even that, couldn't it? But yeah, I mean, it's been a great season. I'm sure it's going to be a great finish as well. But we have to beat Brighton first before we can think too much about titles or anything like that, because it's a game we have to win. And I mean, Matt, as Andreas mentioned, the Birmingham game, I don't see too many similarities in where we are and where we were then. But who knows? They were struggling and we lost that game. We're not going to do it again, are we? No, we're not, are we? Come on.
I think this time around, because it's the second game back, it's a bit different. They've gotten back into a rhythm now, which is the important thing. And on top of that, we've made the signings. Last time it took them pretty much near the deadline day before eventually they were announced because of the restrictions and everything like that with the 2 weeks and everything. So most of that was the problem. But this time around, it's just forms and things like that. They need signing, and then that's it. But I think it will be a game where we're going to see Arsenal get back to it. If I had to put down the team that I think was going to start, I think it's Leah, Rafa, it'll be Laura and Steph. Thank you. It'll be the mid. Then you'll have the midfield of Leah and Kim, and then Frida in the mid as the attacking midfielder. I think, if I'm honest, this is a last chance gamble with Stina. Put Stina up top, see if she can actually score this time around, because there might be a chance that this time next week there might be a new striker in town, which means who's on that left and who's on that right. Well, Lena was on the right. She can do very well, but she was drifting in and out, which was kind of the problem I had against Chelsea. In that second half, she was amazing with Laura. And then on the left, you have Caitlin, as you usually do. But we need to get scoring, and usually it would be nice to see Caitlin get on the score sheet. It would be nice to see Stina get on the score sheet. But I don't think he's going to gamble on new signings just yet. I think he's going to, if he does gamble on them, it will be in the second half. Hopefully, this time around, he manages the time a little bit better, because it's a bit bad. One of my new favourites, although everyone else seems to be going on about it, is Gio. When Gio was at Everton, she was carrying a hip injury. She was coming on in the last 15 minutes, and she was pressing for the ball, trying to win it back. That's how she won the ball in the Merseyside derby, and Jess Park scored the third goal for it, and Everton got the 3 points. That could be the difference at the end of the day, and that's something that I think Jonas needs to take into consideration. But if things aren't planning out, I'd imagine that he'll bring someone on at half time. They just can't afford to have 6s and 7s in this game. It needs to be 8s and 9s.
Yeah.
And if I had to put, if I had to put where we are scoring wise, I don't know. I would like to say 3-0 to be safe. Especially if Lydia is in goal, I think we can sort of use that to our advantage a little bit, because we know her very well. But if is it Walsh in goal? Maybe
Walsh, yeah.
It might even still be 3-0. So it's a difficult game to judge. But if I had to put something on it, it'll be 3-0.
Well, 3-0 was last season, wasn't it? We beat them 3-0 away. Stina scored a couple of goals in that game, and Terry has said there, Stina, 4 goals this week. He goes, there you go. She's due a goal in WSL. She hasn't scored in the league for a while. So, yeah, it'd be nice for her to get on the score sheet again like she did last season. Terry says, I watched some of the Brighton v Leicester game. Leicester were bad, but Brighton were absolutely rubbish, and that's being kind. Well, yeah, but things have changed. New manager, all this kind of stuff. Who knows what's going to happen at Brighton? It could be a totally different Brighton team. Herman says there, since Vivian signed for only 1 year with Arsenal because she wanted to win trophies. However, since that might not be the case due to her injury, you think she might stay? Yeah, I think she'll stay because she won't want to finish her Arsenal career in that way, will she, with an injury? So I think she'll stay for another year. The Manu Irabochi thing's a little bit of a downer for her because they're so close, aren't they? Really good friends, and she'll be a little bit upset about that, I'm sure. But, her focus is getting fit, and I'm sure she'll stay at least one more season at Arsenal. And who knows, maybe if we win some trophies this season without her playing, it might give her more incentive to stay for longer, mightn't it? Who knows, but we'll see. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But obviously she's a long way off being fit again, isn't she, at the moment? So, she's got a lot of work to do. In the meantime, Amar, Brighton, what do you think? We're gonna win, aren't we? Surely, come on.
Yeah, coming back off the win after defeat against Leicester, and they've been on the side for a little while now. Let's be honest. It's going to take a while for the new manager, as good as he might be, from what I've heard, to get his ideas through to the team. And the fact remains is that I don't know if it's the only team in the WSL, but in 4 WSL meetings, Arsenal never conceded a goal away to Brighton. So let's hope we can continue that way and hopefully get an important 3 points. The pressure will be on because Chelsea will have played Liverpool, and I think they'll beat Liverpool quite well. Manchester United will have played Reading by then. Even though Reading improving, they'll have probably beaten Reading by then. Of course, Man City, Aston Villa as well is going to be an intriguing game tomorrow as well. So there'll be a bit of pressure. I back the girls to get the result, and I think we'll win. If I have to make a prediction, I think we'll win 4-0. So hopefully we can get that all important 3 points.
I love a good 4-0 prediction. That's good. Andreas, actually, you kind of disappeared off the planet before we had a chance to get your score prediction for Brighton. So what would be your score prediction for that one?
I'm sorry, my Wi-Fi is doing crazy today. Statistics doesn't win any matches. So if you say we never conceded a goal away at Brighton, this won't help on Sunday. So of course, I see us winning, but my prediction is 3-1. We are not as solid in defense. We will concede 1, but I hope that we'll be able to score at least 3 times. So 3-1 for us.
Well, that would be, to be honest with you, I'll say it every week, 1-0 will do me, a scrappy win, 3 points is all that matters at the end of the day. Yes, it'll be nice to go there and win comfortably, play well, finally get a lot of goals and hopefully see some of the new signings make an impact as well, either from the start or from the bench. That's what we want to see. But we'll take a win. Any win will do. I think we'll win fairly comfortably. Terry's a little bit he's a little bit worried about Brighton. He's gone, we're stuck in Brighton 12-0. So there we go. I'm not quite sure it'll be 12-0. But I do think Arsenal will. I think maybe, I kind of like Amar's 4-0 actually. I kind of fancy a 4-0. I think Stina's going to bang some goals in, and I think we'll win comfortably. And that'll be a great day again. Adriana, we didn't get your score prediction actually for Brighton against Arsenal. What do you think it might be?
I also would think about 3-0, 4-0 because Arsenal has to work on the goal difference with Manchester United surpassing them. So I think there will be the focus on scoring more goals after the first one comes. But I think it's important when they will score this first goal. If it happens very early, then I think it will be a very high result.
Yeah, potentially, I think so, yeah. If we do get an early goal, I think we'll win maybe even more comfortably. But we've had the situation before where, we've got a couple of goals ahead, 3 goals ahead, and then we've kind of sat back a little, haven't we, and not. But I agree, the goal difference could be important this season because, there's so little to choose with points, isn't there, between all the top 4. So, yeah, it'd be nice to go there and get a good win. And hopefully we will. Obviously, Chelsea play Liverpool, don't they, as well on Sunday? Repeat of the first game of the season where Liverpool somehow managed to win that game from 1-0 down to 2 penalties. And obviously Chelsea want revenge. Do you think Chelsea will win that one in against Liverpool, Adriana? You think they should do, shouldn't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they want revenge, and they're at a much different space now, and with their team. I think against Arsenal they were maybe a little bit tired after the training camp, but yeah, I hope now they can come back to their full potential and win against Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all expect them to, but who knows? You know, we didn't expect Liverpool to beat them last time, did we? So maybe they can do us a favour again. We'll see, but I'm not expecting it, to be honest. I think Chelsea will win. I'll be surprised if Chelsea don't win that by 3 or 4 goals either. Actually, if I'm honest, I think it's just, you know, they're at home. They'll still be hurt by that game at the beginning of the season, and they definitely won't let that happen again, I'm sure. So I think both teams are going to win this weekend. Obviously, Man United away at Reading, you think they're going to win as well. Man City have got the toughest game, haven't they? Aston Villa, as we said, you know, new signings might take them a few weeks to really gel as a team, though, might. That's the only thing with Aston Villa, perhaps. But it's going to be an exciting weekend, actually, because there's some big games as well to look forward to. So it's going to be another really big weekend in the WSL. Herman says there 4-1 for Arsenal would be acceptable. Well, of course it would. I mean, any win for Arsenal is acceptable, as far as I can see. So Terry there said, Adrian, tell the truth and back. He wants you to go 12-0 as well to Arsenal. But I don't think that's realistic, is it? Let's be honest. But who knows? He's been right before when we wasn't expecting it. You know, so who knows? Maybe he'll come up trumps for us this week. But yeah, I'll take any win. But I do think we should win pretty comfortably. Let's be honest. But Brighton, with a new manager, may well improve, mightn't they, over the next rest of the season? So we'll have to see how that goes. Of course, there is. I'd almost forgotten the Continental Cup game against Aston Villa is actually this week, isn't it? It's on Thursday before the next show. So we maybe need to give a prediction for the Continental Cup as well, because there's some big games in that competition as well this week, isn't there? Which is going to be pretty exciting. We said on Wednesday, Tottenham against Chelsea is going to be interesting, isn't it? With Tottenham's new sidings and stuff like that. So, you know, like we said, Beth England and the Manu Bocci maybe not Chelsea out. We'll have to see how that goes. And obviously we are playing Aston Villa. So Jordan Nobbs coming back to Meadow Park. What a great night that's going to be to see her back again so quickly after leaving. I mean, Andreas, what are you sort of thinking for the Aston Villa game then? I mean, we should win, but with the Continental Cup, are we that bothered really with what else we've got to play for? Do you think you might rotate the squad for that one?
Yeah, that will be the problem. How many rotations to make, and because in Continental Cup you only have to win 2 times, then you are in the final. Not waste away this chance of winning a trophy. So playing at home, it will be difficult decision for Jonas. Of course, he will want to bring some of his new signings in this match. I'm sure he will rotate, and maybe Pelova will get a chance to start.
Yes.
And probably Gio will come in as a sub, and as we said, maybe Sabrina D'Angelo will start. So he must find the right decisions. Rotation, yes, but not too much. And Villa, every match they do, they will fit in better with the new players. I mean, they have Jordan Nobbs now. They have Lucy Stanningford from United, and Rachel Daly playing a great season. Ken Sadali, and if they are all fit again, then they have our Anna in defense. They have Anna Hampton in goal. So don't underestimate Villa. I think they are the gap to the top 4, and it's a tricky match. Of course, I hope that we will win, and we'll keep the chance for the Continental Cup. I already have my ticket for the Continental Cup final. Arsenal is not in the final.
Yeah, you told me this last week. Yeah, you told me this. I remember.
Yeah.
Where is the final this year? Where are they playing it?
Selhurst Park.
Selhurst Park, yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, it's at Crystal Palace. Yeah, Crystal Palace.
The biggest attended cup final. Just looking at the history. And
whereas last year's was on the Saturday night, if I remember rightly, at Wimbledon's old ground, I think this is it's Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, I might have.
5th of March. 5th of March, something like that.
So if we go through, that means that to the final, we would be playing that Sunday, and the game against Liverpool would be rearranged.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it would be, because of the final. I mean, to be honest, if we're in the final at Crystal Palace, I might go to that. I think I'll look to get a ticket as well, because that could be pretty good. Especially if it turns out to be a London derby against Chelsea, maybe in the final. That would be.
Well, who knows? It might be Bristol City or Liverpool or West Ham.
Well, it might be, yeah, but it seems unlikely. Let's be honest, doesn't it? I mean, West Ham. There's a slight hope for West Ham because they've got to play Liverpool, haven't they? So you imagine they're going to go through to the semi-final, and then who knows? But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, I'm sure, if we can make it through.
That would be great. And this would mean that Spurs win at Chelsea on Wednesday.
Imagine Arsenal Spurs in the final. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? That would just be crazy, wouldn't it?
In London, yeah. That would be
in London.
Yeah.
It would be good. But obviously, Adrian, I'm sure you're hoping that it's Chelsea that go through against Tottenham on Wednesday. But Chelsea really, I know that you guys lost the final to Man City last season. Is it a trophy that you really want to win this year, or obviously other priorities, really, isn't there, with the Champions League and the WSL, obviously the FA Cup again?
Yeah, I think the highest priority is definitely the Champions League. Emma Hayes still hasn't won that trophy, and Chelsea hasn't been made their way up to the final a lot in the last years. So I think, that's their main goal. But of course, also the WSL. I think the Conti Cup. I mean, they will still have a good team, good starting lineup. But as I said earlier, they can also bring a lot of good players into the squad, and it won't make much of a difference in quality.
No, you're right. I mean, that's the issue, isn't it? But Tottenham have made some good signings. They're not going to be a pushover, I'm sure. But it might take them time, as we said, with sort of Aston Villa and Brighton, to gel as a team with new players and new people coming in. It's sometimes difficult, isn't it, to begin with? But let's see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I must be honest. I'm not overly. Well, I wasn't overly bothered about the Continental Cup until you just said the games at Crystal Palace, because I quite fancy that. Because my dad's from his family. That's where they were from, near there. So I kind of know the area pretty well. So it'd be nice to go to see a final there. Actually, that'd be good. So, but. We've got to get past Aston Villa, and it won't be easy, will it, Matt? I mean, Aston Villa, we know what great players they've got now, but we did beat them quite comfortably in the league, didn't we, before Christmas, which was a good performance. And obviously last season at Meadow Park, we scored 7 against Villa, didn't we? So you'd imagine that we'd be favourites, but it's a different Aston Villa team now, isn't it, than it was then?
Yeah, but just to put it in perspective, it's a bit of a shame that none of us are going there apart from Amar, because
I might be going. That's a good point.
You might be going. Because I was just going to say, usually it ends up with an Arsenal win. I go, most of my games are away at Villa Park, and we've won there twice. Katie's getting on the score sheet twice. I think that's one thing that just kind of makes it even better, is that this is the sort of game where Katie knows a goal's going to come. Doesn't matter when, she knows it's going to come no matter what. So she'll be up for it, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do make a lot of changes compared to what we saw what we will see against Brighton. I would imagine that Katie would get minutes. I would imagine Gio will get minutes. I imagine Victoria will get minutes. I imagine it's Stephanie, isn't it? Stephanie, the goalkeeper. I imagine that's Sabrina, sorry.
Sabrina, like the teenage witch, Sabrina.
Yeah, that's what I'm going in my head. But I think this is the type of thing that Jonas would do. But that's the sort of changes he would make. I would probably leave Katrina Cole just on the bench at the moment, just because it's a good option. It's a safe option. Well, not a safe option, but you're offering her the chance to get more experience. So if she can watch, and then she enters, say, the 60th minute, comes off for maybe I imagine not Leah, but maybe Kim. Maybe that would be some sort of change. But it's again, it depends on who what the score is. If I remember rightly, Lucy Sanford's cup tied. Jordan will be interested. if she was playing for Man United. I don't know if she did play, but I'd imagine that she is. I don't want to. I will double check.
Yeah, she might well have done in a group stage. Yeah, you're right. She probably did.
So if she did, then she's cup tied. So that makes things a little bit easier for us. But then again, it's going to be. I think whatever happens, it's going to come down to how the team can perform and get over the challenge of Villa, making sure that Rachel Daly, Kenza Darley, and Jordan Nobbs as well can all be kept at bay. Although the goal last time came from Kirsty Hansen, that's the important thing. Just try and make sure that they don't score, because if they score, then they'll be wanting to go 3-4 goals up, and that would not. The one thing that kind of annoyed me last season was that we lost this around this time 1-0. We then went and focused on the FA Cup and Champions League, and then we were out of it by March. I would rather much preferred that we won this game into a semi-final, and then at the very least we can go, right, okay, we've gone one stage better. For me personally, Jonas will want a trophy, and this is one of the best ones you can possibly get, because there's the least amount of games that you need to go through if you're in Champions League. So it's always a possibility. And if I'm honest, if I had to put a prediction on it, the problem is I don't know about extra time penalties. I know it's extra time and penalties for the final. I don't know if it goes into extra time penalties in the quarterfinal.
I think it does. I think it does.
If it does, I think that would probably be where it is sort of solved in extra time. I would imagine that if it would be like a 2-1. But again, I couldn't say for certain. It's a cup tie, and there's a bit of romance with a cup tie, isn't there? So you never know. But it'll be a tough game. It'll be a lot different than it was at Villa Park, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think so, because I think we are going to rotate the squad. I think we're going to play a slightly, I wouldn't necessarily call it a weaker team, but making changes to the first team. And, Aston Villa, as we said, have got some great players. So it is going to be tough. And overall, I remember last season we lost to Man United at this stage. And, yeah, we was a little bit upset at the time. But overall, I wasn't particularly bothered, because at the time we had bigger fish to fry, if you like. We wanted to go for finally the Champions League, as you said, the FA Cup and the league. And we didn't win any of them. And yes, winning the Continental Cup is a trophy, and it's better than not winning anything, isn't it? So if we can win it, why not try and win it? I say, let's go for it on Thursday. Let's try and get past Aston Villa, and then in semi-final, who knows? We're certainly capable of beating anybody in this league, whoever we get. So, but yeah, it's a tough one, because the injuries that we've had, do we want to risk too many of our key players in this competition? I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I mean, Amar, what are you thinking? Do you think there'll be a lot of changes, or do you think maybe Jonas might try and win the competition? Because, as Andreas said, there's only 2 games to the final.
Yeah, I would imagine he wouldn't want to play his full strength team as well. If you think that they've got Leeds only a few days after, so maybe you look to give the signings and a few of the players on the bench, even like maybe Michel Adjaman or something like that, some game time as well. So. Yeah, he was just what I imagine he'll give some of those players some time as well. But it's important, I think, as we want to, as we've said before, it'll be 4 years since we last won some silverware. So it'll be nice to see if we can go all the way in that. And we're still in 4 chances with 4 competitions this season. So it'll be disappointing if we didn't win at least one. And whilst Aston Villa are a good side, I respect what they've done there. Carla Ward has done a fantastic job, deserves the contract extension she got the other day. They're a very ambitious club, and they're going forward. I think we'll just be a little bit too strong for them. It won't be as one-sided as it was in the league game for Christmas, and it might just take one individual moment of brilliance or maybe a mistake to decide it. So I think if I had to make a score prediction, I think we'll go 2-1 Arsenal. So and I don't know where I'll be going yet. I'll see. I'd love to. He's included as part of the membership, so I'll try to make it long if I can.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game, actually. It'd be good to see Jordan again, won't it? I'm sure she'll play, so that'll be nice, won't it? And she'll get a good reception, I'm sure, from the fans. So that'll be nice, if nothing else. Whatever happens in the game, to see Jordan back at Meadow Park and give her a nice reception is going to be worth it, isn't it? And hopefully we can go through, because I want us to win every game. I don't care what the competition is, but I guess there are priorities, isn't there? And this is probably fourth on our list of priorities this season, understandably so. But it's a game to win, and we're at home, and it's a team that we should beat. So let's hope we do, and we go through to the semi-final, because that could be interesting to see who we get. But yeah, I mean, in the overall scheme of things, I don't think if we do go out on Thursday, if we lose, I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. And it's just, one of them things, isn't it? So, but we'll see what happens. And of course, as you mentioned there, the FA Cup, of course, starts for us the weekend, sort of next weekend, doesn't it? Week on. Is that a game on Saturday? Isn't it? Have they moved it?
Sunday.
It's on Sunday, is it? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon against Leeds, yeah.
They keep moving all the games. I lose track of when they are.
No,
they
it
should
wouldn't be
stick to
3 days after the Conti Cup. It'll be 3. It'll be Sunday.
Oh, of course, if we're playing, we're not going to play Thursday, Saturday, are we? Yeah, I suppose it has to be Sunday. Yeah, looking forward to that one as well, actually. But we'll talk about that next week, obviously, because we will be back, obviously, on Friday again. We can do the Friday show, hopefully a bit more regular now, going through the rest of the season, because we've had a bit of a mixed bag this season, haven't we, with different nights we've had to do it in. And obviously last week, Andreas was flying over to London, so we couldn't come on the show and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, it's been a reasonably good week for Arsenal, I think. The performance against Chelsea was good, even if the result wasn't quite what we wanted. And we've made positive moves again in the transfer market, which is always good. And we've got 2 good games to look forward to, haven't we? 2 games where hopefully we can win and move forward. And it's going to be, it's certainly going to be an exciting run into the season now, isn't it? Everything's to play for. The title race looks really, really exciting as things stand. And I think it's going to potentially again go all the way to the last week of the season, which would be incredible, wouldn't it? And it could be a good finish, because the final day of the WSL season is also the last day of the Premier League as well, isn't it? So it could be if they, obviously the last Premier League games on the Sunday, and then I'm sure the last WSL games will probably be on the Sunday as well, unless they move them to the Saturday that weekend. But what a weekend that could be. The men win the Premier League and the women win the WSL. What a weekend. Just that'll be it then. The weekend's done and the season's finished. And what a way to finish it would be. But a long way to go. A long way to go yet before we get too excited about that. But I'm just thinking ahead, really. I'm thinking, I'm going to come down to London for that weekend. And even if I can't get to either of the games because they're all sold out, it doesn't matter. Just be there, be outside and enjoy it and, celebrate with everybody else. But we'll see. Maybe we'll all be crying in May. Who knows? But hopefully not. We'll see. Terry says there, 5-1. Come on, chaps, stop making out Arsenal aren't going to win. Well, I don't know. I think they were a better side than they were. Terry says there, Matt being positive, are you feeling okay, or shall I call you a doctor? Well, Matt's been more positive this season, hasn't he? He's predicted quite a lot of victories, and quite often he's been right. So there you go. We need to celebrate the positive, Matt, because it's working, and long may it continue. You did say we were going to win on Thursday, didn't you? You said we were going to win 2-1, didn't you?
Yeah, 2-1.
2-1. And Matt, Amar, you said 2-1 as well, didn't you?
2-1, that's right, yeah.
Villa. Andreas, what do you reckon for Villa then? Do you think we'll win? Score prediction?
I'll say the same as for the Brighton match, 3-1 for the Arsenal.
Okay.
3-1 will do. Adriana, what do you think then? Arsenal, Aston Villa in the Continental Cup, what score prediction?
I think it will be close. I think 2-1.
And what about Chelsea against Tottenham in that competition?
Good question. I think 3-1 Chelsea.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, why not? But I think they're both going to be difficult games and tight games. Could be extra time and penalties, as we mentioned before. Who knows? But I think Arsenal should go through against Villa. I do think regardless of what 11 we put out, I think we should be strong enough to beat them at home. But yeah, I think it'll be tricky. I think maybe 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0. I'd actually know 2-1 because Jordan's going to score for Villa, isn't she? So we'll let her have a goal. We'll win 2-1. It'll be happy days, and that'll be nice. And maybe Spurs to beat Chelsea 4-0 or something. Iwabochi scores a hat trick or something like that. That'll be nice. And Beth England scores the other one, but I'm sure that won't happen. But we'll see. Herman says there, I want to watch an Arsenal ladies practice on YouTube. When do they usually practice? Well, I mean, every day, won't they? Like the men do. They have training every day. I'm not sure if they have anything on YouTube with the girls practicing. Sometimes Arsenal.com has some stuff on, doesn't it? Some footage of training occasionally. So maybe worth checking there out, see if they've got anything up. But they don't do it all the time. Every so often they'll throw a few training videos in the ladies, but not very often actually. They need to do more, I agree actually, because there's so much more interest now. I think that they need to be showing stuff like that more often because more people want to see it. So, but yeah, Arsenal.com sometimes have some stuff on there. So maybe check that out. But yeah, they train every day. So they'll be there. I mean, obviously, they would have been training today. They'll probably train light training tomorrow ahead of the game before travelling down, I would have thought. So, yeah, see if there's anything on the website for you that might show a little bit. There's a few on there before I've seen. So I'd say more there than YouTube. I don't think YouTube will have much on, but Arsenal.com probably will at some stage. So just definitely have a look there and see them training. It's always good. It's always good fun, isn't it? So anyway, we have we've been going for quite a long time tonight. Actually, obviously, a bigger panel, which makes it more, it takes longer to get through. But we've got through a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. It's been really, really good. I mean, first of all, I want to say thank you to Adriana for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on. Have you enjoyed coming on the show tonight?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Had a lot of fun today.
It's been great. I say it's really good to hear different opinions on stuff as well, and it's great to hear. Obviously, you've got quite a lot of insight into women's game and stuff like that, which is great. So always a pleasure. Yeah, you're welcome back anytime, and hopefully, Chelsea don't win everything again because it's getting a bit annoying now. Give Arsenal a chance. Come on, let us have at least one trophy just for change. We're sick of coming second all the time. It's just not good. Andreas, again, as always, good to see you.
Yeah, I enjoyed the show very much too. And I think it was very interesting subjects to talk about. And, looking forward to the weekend. And as we always say, the weekend can now really start as our show is done.
Yes, the weekend can't start until we finish the show, so we're almost at the weekend now. So whatever you've been doing all week, it's been very cold here in the UK. What's the weather been like in Germany, Andreas? Has it been cold there as well? Snow and stuff like that have you had?
I think it's snowing in Germany, but I'm back in London already.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, it's certainly been cold here all week. We've had frost and snow and all kinds of stuff going on. So hopefully the weather picks itself up a bit. It gets a bit warmer because I'm not a fan of cold weather. I've got to be honest. But anyway, nothing we can do about it. The weather's what it is, and it is winter after all. So I suppose we shouldn't be too surprised. But yeah, it's going to be a big weekend coming up, isn't it? For Arsenal. Hopefully we can get another 3 points and keep that pressure on Chelsea, because I'm sure they're going to win their game. Looking at who they've got to play, we're sure they'll win. So we need to win our game and keep the pressure on. And who knows what's going to happen. Matt, as well, good to see you. I know you was out and about earlier, so we couldn't see you earlier, but we can see you now. And it is good to see you as always. Have you enjoyed the show?
Yeah, I always enjoy it. And I was meant to put in the videos that in our vlogs that on the day of the game that we had some good news and some bad news. The good news was Carnu signed on that on the day of the game. The bad news was the first day North London derby in White Hart Lane was a 2-1 loss.
Right.
So I was looking for another good little bit of history. Unfortunately, it's the League Cup loss to Tottenham a couple of years ago that no one wants to hear about because it was the last time they won a trophy. So not very good omens at the moment, but from history. But on these sorts of days, but hopefully in the future there will be a lot more. It will be on this day Arsenal women won X amount of goals and got a WSL record or something like that for how many hat tricks in over 3 minutes or something like that. Would be quite nice. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the games this week, and always look forward to talking to you all. And it's nice to see a new face as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been great. Good to see you as well, Matt, and Amar as well. We can just about see you in the dark again, but good to see you. Have you enjoyed the show? He's a bit late this week, but we'll let you off because we know you've had a stressful day.
No, I'll be back with the quiz question next week, and yeah, no, it's been good. It's been difficult, and but no, it's been good to be part of this again. And yeah, I just wanted to say a brief message on my great good friend Kishan, who was the most passionate Arsenal supporter you could ever come across. Seeing all the Arsenal flags that I saw today when at the And this the ceremony made me really think of him. He really loved Arsenal through and through, and to lose him sadly at a young age is a great loss. And hopefully we can win something for him this season, because he'd have loved to have been there. He disappointed them with the passion, and and he lost his battle with a congenital heart disease which he had from birth. So hopefully we can win something for him this season, and wherever he is, I'm sure he'll be watching and so wanting the team to do well. So let's hope we can do something for him this season, and fingers crossed for it.
Yes, indeed. And, we did have I put a little thing on at the start of the show. We are dedicating this show to Kishan, of course, the show tonight. And obviously all our thoughts go out to his family and friends and everything else. Let's hope that Arsenal can get that. It'd be nice, wouldn't it, to get a trophy in the end this season, be fitting, a fitting tribute. So, let's hope that's the case. But, I say all thoughts go out to the family, of course, at this time. Terry says, a great show tonight, Richard, Andreas, Amar, Matt and Adriana. You lot are smashing the women's game. Many thanks. Well, we're trying to do our best with the women's game. We think it deserves more coverage, so we want to do the best that we can. And it's great that, guys like yourself are tuning in on a regular basis. Herman as well is usually watching us. There's loads more people as well in the chat usually for the games as well. So, it's good to, that this is getting a lot of support, because, women's football deserves people to be paying attention to it. It deserves to be spoken about on platforms like this, and we will continue to do as much as we can to promote it in the best way that we can. And it's great that all you guys are supporting it as well and coming along for the ride. And we've built up quite a good little community, haven't we, over the last couple of years. We've met up at games and all this kind of stuff. And now we've got a new member as well with Adriana joining us as well. So hopefully we'll get we can keep growing our little community even further. So that'd be good. And I say you're welcome to come back any time on the show. I know obviously you're in touch with Andreas. It'd be good to have you back any time. It'd be a pleasure. Terry in the chat there says, Richard, are you doubling up again this Sunday? Yes, I am. Unfortunately, this week there's no break, because Arsenal play Man United at 4:30 kickoff, so I'll be doing that game. And then straight after, a 6:45 kickoff is the women playing against Brighton. So I've got a double shift, one after the other, 4.5 hours of me watching the games, which will be fun, I'm sure. If you're around and want to watch that, please join us. That's going to be good. I'll have plenty of tea, plenty of chocolate, plenty of water, and we'll get through it together, won't we? It's a long old shift, but we'll get through it, and hopefully it'll be another 2 Arsenal wins, because there's been quite a lot of that recently this season. It's been quite a good season, hasn't it? And you never know, we might see a few new signings on Sunday. Obviously, Arsenal men have got 2 new signings today. One particularly exciting one. We may see him on Sunday, and of course, there's some new signings for the women who we may well see Sunday as well. So that's going to be great, isn't it? So join us for that if you can. I'll be live about 4:15, and I'll be probably here until midnight or whatever it is. All the games go one after the other. So I'll need some coffee to keep me awake, and whatever, some chocolate, I'll be fine. So thank you very much, of course, to Andreas, to Matt and to Amar as always, and of course as well our special guest tonight, Adriana. Real pleasure to have you on the show. And I say you're welcome back anytime. It'd be great to see you back. Thanks for your contributions as well. Been really good. And thanks to all you guys for watching. There's been quite a few people watching tonight, which is good. Some great comments as well. So thank you to all you guys. And I say I'll be back Sunday. I need to get some sleep and keep myself fresh, because it's going to be a big shift on Sunday. But if Arsenal win both games, I'll be more than happy to share it with you. So join me for that if you can. And then next week, we'll have a few more shows on next week. Melvin's back with Highbury Matters on Wednesday. We're into the George Graham era now, so that's going to be really exciting. So definitely join us for that. The Arsenal reviews on Monday, looking back at the Man United game, looking at the new signings, loads of other stuff going on there as well. So please join us for that on Monday. I think Steve and Adam will be back with the social extra next week as well. So busy stuff. We're back Friday, of course, with the Women's Weekly again, looking back on another busy week for the women, and loads of matches, watch-alongs. Thursday night, obviously, Aston Villa will be here for that one as well. Loads going on. So please give us a like and do subscribe. We will see you very soon. Thanks to Andreas, to Adriana, to Matt and to Amar. It's been a busy show. We've enjoyed it. It's been great. And thank you for all your support. And we will see you very soon. And, of course, we always end the same way. Come on, you Gunners. Let's do it. Win again this weekend. See you later, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
run in there of Beth Mead. Beth Mead's in behind, plays it across. Caitlin Ford's going to score, and she has scored. This fast start has been rewarded for us.